So, like, eh, one interesting thing that did happen while I was at the rehabilitation clinic is that when everything clicked for me, when I finally figured everything out, I needed a way to put it all somewhere logical. I needed to make sense because, I mean, what do you do when you realize like everything about how you perceived reality was wrong, when you realize that it's all a lie? In my case, I start writing shit down. Yeah, I basically kept asking them for printer paper. Not just for this, but for the letters I was sending to my mom. And at one point, letters I was trying to send to my workplace to try to figure out precisely how I got to this point. Like, it took me so long just to find out that I had bacterial pneumonia. Like, I don't know if the clinic just didn't have all of my medical records on hand, or if they just didn't want to tell me, but it took me so long to find out everything. And so much of this, looking back, so much of this is steeped in my own ignorance of my situation. It is too cold right now. It's been summer for so long. It's finally starting to feel like autumn. And I don't even need to have this on right now, so I don't know why I have it on. But I'm going to go ahead and put on my River Weston, this cute little moment. His Dark Side album. Single, album. But it was on a good album as well. I want to pop this on. Look at this and unstrip. What do you know? By the way, I'm going to be doing something with River. But anyway, jumping back, keeping on topic. I started writing this stuff, I think maybe the day after that one nurse came in and mentioned, oh, it's a lovely, what was it? Isn't this a lovely May day? No, April. Yeah, it was April. Lovely April day. Lovely April day. Sweet, innocuous phrase. And she fucked up my universe so bad. And I write, in the middle of November, I was discharged from the hospital I went to on account of my leg. It wasn't my leg. That was an unavoidable fact. At least it was. Until one strange nurse asked how I was on April 13th, 2024. This was wrong. Was I being pranked or gaslit? A small group at the last hospital I was at used gaslighting methods to try and convince me it was September, November, etc., sometimes in 2024, sometimes in the past. My previous experience made me feel uneasy. I think this was fictitious, actually. Scared and even angry. How dare they try this? It was clearly a lie. She defended herself, saying the event calendar said April. It could obviously have been faked. Then I saw the daily crossword, and it also said April. Could easily be faked or just printed a random date. Nothing. No. I knew it was November. I wanted to question other stuff. I wanted her to slip up, but I was never able to get up the courage. And then, while channel surfing, I ended up on the news. And in a shocking moment, they said it on the news. I had to accept it because what a lovely April day. And then an Easter-themed charity commercial. In the middle of April, I realized it wasn't November. the new revelation of Earth's revolution didn't fix everything on its own. I still remembered November. I still felt the midday chill and breezes as cruel teases of approaching winter, not its inevitable death. And I swore my first day in this place, a hospital of rehab and recovery, recommended to me by the previous hospital, was firmly in October. After all, I hadn't seen the 2023 Doctor Who Christmas special. So how could I have lived past that? I didn't remember an experience of eating cutely generic but filling meals at Denny's on Thanksgiving, nor the typical repeat of this at Christmas. I've had bad awareness of time and its passage before, but even then, I was still aware of the clock. And now, the question merely evolved. Was I living in November, in the delusion of April? One was the blooming life of April, disintegrating the corpse of November. Or were both capable of existing? It wasn't just the general mystery that had me stressed over this. My mother was jobless, handicapped, friendless, and alone. If both events were true, she'd have been alone for 6 months. I'd have 6 months of late fees on my Discover card, and all the while I was here, living free and learning how to walk, reliving my infanthood, basically. I've been writing to my mother for the past 4 weeks. No response. I'd had someone call the police for a wellness check. No update. Did she run off on a heroic adventure to find her son? Did she move to another town? Or did she just do what so many 70-year-old women do? The wintry chill of frozen wind is breaking through my window, building fear in my skin and transforming my... what is this word? Transforming my fingers into frozen bullets. 4 blankets help. April and November. Is there even a difference? My life is a lie. Feels like one of those contrite, hammy go-tos of the celebrity market. And yet here I am, feeling the exact same way, writing my ridiculous thoughts during my 4th night of insomnia. The hospital is the demon behind things. I always embellish a few memories when I store them, but the more I recall memories of that place and time, the more I realize those events could never have happened. Even some of the lead up to going there feels murky and uncertain now. I think my last certain memory are just about working at the hotel back home. As more and more lies of the mind get stripped away, I'm only left with no truth. In the dubious hospital was my leg and stay-in-bed treatment that likely had me doing the overthinking that leads to imagination overwork. That some of it lingers and I feel it. Ironically, even with more abilities and clarity, I still find myself bedbound, this time because of this is fictitious, it wasn't this, because of a virus putting me on the naughty step. I do have a memory of getting told I had it at the last hospital, most notably punctuated by the nurse shouting, "Stop eating poop." Again, I thought I had some, I think this was my second bout of COVID. That was what actually had me locked up. I never ate poop, but I had numerous interactions with it while being sick in the hospital. A lovely contradiction. I was informed the other day that staff here are working on ending my contamination restrictions, and while there's many activities I'll be able to do, I really just want to go outside and see birds. The worst part is I wasn't allowed to go outside, even when I did have my restriction taken off. There was still no way to go outside. That killed me really bad. The most difficult issue my two realities is my mother. I think most of the interactions while in the hospital were entirely fabricated. Moving to a hotel room to be close, she made aesthetic changes to the room and even had some of our furniture moved in. Absolute abandon. Absolute abandonism. I also realized the hotel had the same style as the hospital. Two shades of that obviously white divided by 1 inch thick stripe of brown. And she snuck me to a restaurant where I misstepped on where I misstepped on outdoor stairs and injured my leg again. She was once a pretty woman, tall, comely, with voluminous hair. When I last saw her, the height was now slumped, the hair limp, the face sad, thicker and aged, but still beautiful. 7 days ago, I arrived in April. My second Saturday feels a lot calmer. I wrote down for... Let's see, what is this? I wrote down for before consulting a calendar, time feels blurred and undecided. Also, having no phone was an instrumental part of this confusion. Sometime in November, I lost my phone during commute, allegedly. I had no luggage brought with me either. I had the clothes I arrived in and nothing else. I asked the nurses to raid Lost and Found for me, and I ended up with a luxurious supply of the shirts and 1 pair of pants. Oh, a luxurious supply of 3 shirts and 1 pair of pants. I had more shirts now, but the laundry people have snagged 2 pairs of pants, so I'm still at 2. I live in fear of my next shower. I really did, actually. You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. The first is usually a standard without much vast variation. Lunch often has good variation, and dinner can be amazing. One thing I hope was real from my past is the meal selection. I tried several new meals for the first time. Thankfully, this trend has continued in this place. Loathing the scent of bell peppers turned into me loving the green ones. I got to try new varieties of fish as well. Yeah. There's birdsong and a seemingly cloudy sky. In spite of being a rural town, I barely recall any birdsong at Tucumcari. I also got some information from a nurse. Sadly, it appears I didn't arrive when I should have, but rather early January. Additionally, I was not driven by my mom and entered willingly. I was transferred from my home hospital via ambulance. This one fact alone shatters my entire memory before arriving here. It does seemingly make things simpler since I don't have to worry about a fictitious hospital holding my luggage or glasses and maybe even my phone. Everything is back home, but now the question becomes, why was I at the Tucumcari Hospital? And what required transfer via ambulance? This is no longer sounds like a simple "my leg hurts" scenario, but it also leaves blank so much of my past. I suppose from here it's natural to bring the conversation to food. When I was trying to write to my mother, nearly everyone involved, uh, every letter evolved into food commentary to share, but also because I just love it. And the place has been very good for someone like me, menu shy. I'm very sad I overslept the day that they had pozole, as it was one of my mother's favorites. The other was menudo. I still remain sternly opposed to some food, though, such as soups and chowders. Breakfast is almost always a simple, functional affair. The past so many days have been about oatmeal, with guest appearances of sausage and egg. The lunch today was chorizo and egg that needs far more chorizo, with a stunning rice pilaf. Oh, I loved it. Potatoes and tortilla made nice finishing touches. I've had 2 shirts stolen from my room. Um, a smart red polo from Banana Republic. That was actually just misplaced. I did find it. And a beige shirt with a striped plaid that resembled a Burberry pattern. That literally disappeared. I am so pissed off. I loved that. I wanted it so bad to come home with me. I'm hiding the rest just to be safe. I've also rekindled a passion for crossword puzzles, an activity I regularly shared with my mom, especially when we went to restaurants and they were on the placemats. A honey glazed pork slice with appealing sides and a chocolate pudding capped off a peaceful Saturday and my first week in April. The weekend is hard, with little to do. Still, I now have some fun assignments. Another fun activity I participate in is chronic insomnia, supplemented by the need to sleep when I should be awake. I'm aware of this and take steps to avoid it, which is why I'm eating ham and cheese sandwich at 3 in the morning. Exactly. Ecstatically, late at night has been futile for ages. Hold on. Exhaustedly late at night, yeah. They evolved from enjoying Lego, enjoying movies with violent situations. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. Sorry, I have to restart this. I know where I am now. The insomnia. I'm aware of this and take steps to avoid it, which is why I'm eating ham and cheese sandwiches at 3 in the morning. Exhaustively late nights have been a feature of my life for ages. They evolved from enjoying Lego, enjoying movies with violent, shirtless men, enjoying myself, albeit to no avail. Even in the solo world, my sex life was nothing to write home about. Not that there aren't stories to tell, just none involving this place. Though there have been some male nurses I smile at. One of the Gold Star ones mixes my coffee for me instantly instead of just bringing me the sachets. I think this guy was a dream. I never saw him again. My ideal coffee seems to sit at the 3 creams and 4 saccharin. Coffee and I have a dubious relationship, but it grows on me. One more page. We can continue the rest in another video. I find myself wondering what my life will be after all of this. The original way could have at least have a simple reunion. Now, I'm aware something sent me to the emergency room and required transfer. This to me says she'd definitely know my whereabouts and could communicate. So why didn't she? The gap between breakfast and lunch felt far longer than usual today. I didn't exercise because the pain in my leg is creeping back. One day won't hurt, I suppose. I did label my current condition as can stand, can't walk. And even then, the standing is a bit like one of those fair toys that you can push the button on the bottom. No stability. I undersold lunch early. I undersold lunch earlier, and today just is a good example of that. A huge, juicy pot roast portion with potato and a fantastic carrot cake. This meal also helped refine my opinion of gravy. It's fantastic as a sauce, but the idea of it as a main course, about as farcical as people who'll spoon feed themselves ranch. I'm now putting clean clothes away while debating if I could pull off straight man shorts, and if I'd even want to. I didn't keep them. I don't think I even wore them fully while I was there, but they were an option I had. During my most recent clothes hunt through Lost and Found, I put the rejects in a little satchel to be taken away. I just found out a miscommunication led to them being washed and returned. I actually feel like I've changed my mind about some of them. Pants are still low, especially the ones a size too big. They really were low. Once again, this has me pondering reality. When I eventually leave, a confused, befuddled young man in pajama bottoms, a graphic tee, and suede slippers. I've seen people who can pull this off, but I usually have $5 and a snack back from home. Sunday passed long and slow with nothing to do beyond crosswords, hot chocolate, and planning how to get my questions and get answers. I actually slept better this time. Operating maneuvers while being effectively bedbound is an interesting endeavor. I penned my questions and handed them to staff. Just to be safe, I also mailed letters. And now begins the brilliant Napoleonic gambit of twiddling my fingers and waiting. They made a rather avant-garde attempt at breakfast by including something they called French toast. The effort was appreciated. However, the qualities of good French toast were absent entirely. By lunch, they'd already redeemed themselves, even with a Jell-O dessert. The meal was too sloppy for sandwiches on very well prepared buns. Yet another first time food off my checklist. The crispy fish that finished the night was excellent, but getting everything hold on, in double portions raised a challenge. It took me a while to get them to realize that I wanted food. I wanted so much food. But eventually it did happen, and I started getting the portions I needed, and it was just so simple. I could not get over how fantastic the food here was. I was actually so sad on my last day because I was leaving before the dinner that they had. Actually, no, I left before lunch. No, I left right after lunch. I did manage to get lunch, and that made me happy. I still have my meal cards too, the ones that I sent my mom. But yeah, there were 10 pages of this story, 10 pages of me putting my thoughts onto paper, putting them down, and my handwriting isn't bad. It's just that it gets tiny and it's a little muddled. But honestly, like, I don't think it's that bad. It's not terrible. But yeah, I'm going to go through the other pages at another time. I want to keep these videos a little small. I don't want to go back to having like my 48-minute hour videos again because it took me so long to get away from that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, life does get better as long as you work at it brick by brick. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.